Mic check 1 2 1 2. It's the Y2K Collector here on a cool, calm Saturday evening, and I wanted to just take a moment to talk about how the hobby of video games can really hurt romantic relationships. And I know this is not a common topic that you'd probably hear on most gaming channels, but we're not like most gaming channels over here, and we like to talk about the things that are real, right? And I got a comment this past week from one of the viewers who basically spoke about how, gaming kind of really hurts his dating life, but how he would just rather spend a Saturday evening at home with his son playing video games than go to a club and waste money on alcohol and people that he probably won't build any type of long lasting or meaningful relationship with. And for someone like me, who's been in a committed long-term relationship for a very long time, um, that's not something that I've had to deal with. It's just not something I've had to deal with. But I do understand that there is a good chunk of my viewers who are probably single, and while yes, they love their video games, I'm sure there are those days and nights where you'd probably rather have someone else beside you, just engaging in other activities than gaming. Maybe watching a movie, maybe going out to a nice dinner, seeing a show, maybe going to a concert, um, you know, whatever the case may be. And it feels like the hobby of retro gaming kind of has you stuck in this loop where yes, you enjoy the games and it's your comfort zone, and you might have a good time engaging in that. But then on the back end of that, once you turn the games off and you have to come back to reality, the reality hits you that you're probably somewhat alone. And so I kind of just want to talk about how gaming can kind of handicap you in that way. And I think I used the word already, and the word is comfortability. Video games do not require much of you outside of you just turning them on and playing them. You can play them at your own speed. You can play them on your own time. Video games aren't going to judge you. They're just there, and I think that's why we like them so much, because they're consistent. There's rules to the game, and as long as you understand those rules to the video game, you should be able to succeed if you play by the rules. But when it comes to dating, relationships, and things like that, the rules often feel like they're ever changing, and it's a much more difficult game to get used to. And what I've noticed is that not all gamers, but a lot of gamers, especially gamers who don't go out, who don't engage socially, that's just a game that's very difficult for them to learn, because it requires you being able to adjust and adapt to the different personalities out there. And it also involves you being able to deal with a good amount of scrutiny from whoever it is that you're trying to court or get to know. With video games, at the start, you get this like tutorial phase where you can learn the controls, learn the moves, learn the layout, adjust your settings, and set yourself up as best as you can for success. And unfortunately, dating just isn't set up that way. And so it just requires another level of analysis, and it requires another level of you stepping outside of that comfort zone, and in some ways making yourself vulnerable. And when you have a hobby like video games supporting you, when you have something like video games that is acting as a crutch for you to be able to not have to step outside of that comfort zone, it becomes increasingly difficult, especially when you have friends that also play video games, are into the hobby. That's pretty much the bulk of what they spend their time doing. It just becomes very difficult for you to be able to find the chutzpah to step outside that comfort zone and go and do something different. And I think that's the biggest issue with video games, is that they act as that crutch and they don't force you to step outside the comfort zone. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I have the answers for that, because again, like I said, that is not a something that I've had to deal with for a very long time. But what I would say is that there are ways that you can incorporate a social dynamic into the hobby of gaming, right? So like that one subscriber, he mentioned that, he has a son. Maybe there are meetup groups where single parents bring their kids to play video games together, and maybe you can meet another person who's kind of in your situation where they're a single parent, but they also like video games, and perhaps that's a way that you can meet that person and kind of form a friendship at first, because that's really where it should start, right? Form a friendship, learn how to talk to people about things other than video games. Yes, you can meet through the mutual appreciation of video games, but once you actually meet that person, then you can start to engage them in the other things in your life that you enjoy outside of video games. And that's why, on my channel, I try to talk about things that are about more things than just video games, because there's more to life than just video games. And if that's the only thing that you can talk about all the time, all day, every day, like that's the only language you speak is retro games or video games, it's going to be very difficult for you to socially interact with people outside of that. And I think that's really, really important in this day and age. The reality is that relationships have gotten a lot harder, especially since the pandemic. Relationships were very difficult before the pandemic, but they've become even more difficult to navigate since the pandemic because of the different expectations that have been set through social media and through just pop culture, movies. There's so many expectations, and there are things that men expect from women, women expect from men, vice versa. And I think that being able to understand what your strengths, your weaknesses are, your likes and dislikes outside of video games is going to make you better equipped to understand what it is you like, what it is you don't like, and be more assertive in going after what it is that you want. And a lot of that takes courage. A lot of that takes, again, you backing away from video games and engaging in something else. And, here we go. It's a Saturday night tonight. I took a little pause away from game one of the Nuggets Timberwolves game to make this quick video, just in response again to something that a post that a commenter made on one of my videos, But I think the topic is really relevant, and it's just worth a conversation, which is what I'm bringing to you all here tonight on a Saturday night, right? Tonight, some of you are making some good food. Maybe you're ordering some pizza, maybe you're getting some burgers, maybe you're getting some hot wings, and you're gonna get together with your buddies and you're gonna game all night. Some of you, maybe you'll game until, I don't know, 8 or 9, and then after that you're gonna take a shower and hit the club or hit the scene and try to engage socially. But if you are someone who, like my subscriber, wants to do something on a Saturday night other than playing video games, it starts with you being willing to step out of your comfort zone, challenging yourself, being willing to receive rejection, and then just being honest with yourself about what it is you want and what it is you're looking for. The same approach that you would take to trying to make friends from a gaming community perspective is the same approach that you could take to trying to build a relationship. Walk into the situation with no motives, right? Dating is not like playing a video game. In video games, you have an agenda, you have a goal. Your goal is to beat the game. With dating, building relationships, it's completely different. You really shouldn't have a goal going into it, because when you do that, you're going to set yourself up for failure. Because if you go into it and you don't immediately achieve the goal that you're looking for, you're going to be deflated, you're going to feel defeated, and you're going to want to just quit the game. You're going to rage quit, right? But if you go into relationships motive-free, agenda-free, not expecting any type of outcome, and just happy if you're able to just have a good conversation or make an acquaintance, I think the lowered expectations is going to produce a more satisfying outcome for you individually. But I'm interested to know your thoughts. This is a conversation that I think is relevant on a gaming channel, because just because you play games, it doesn't mean that you don't want to date. It doesn't mean that you don't want to do other things in life. It doesn't mean that you're not just a regular person who does other things. And if we can't talk about these things amongst each other, where can we talk about them, right? So let me know down in the comments what you think about this. I know this was kind of, there was no point to this video. It was more so to just stimulate conversation around the topic, because there are more than 3,000 folks who are subscribed, and which means there are more than 3,000 experiences from people who play video games and have either been in relationships or dated or are married or single. And I think on a Saturday night, if you have nothing else to do, or if you're just sitting around gaming, now is a good time to share your thoughts. Any suggestions that you have may help someone else who's viewed the video or who's in the comments. And now is a good time for us to just share ideas and share our thoughts and perspectives. It's the Y2K Collector coming at you on a Saturday night with an provocative and thought-provoking video. Hopefully you've had a productive day. I've got to get started on my more formal video for you guys for the week. I will see you tomorrow morning with more comments that we get in the last 24 hours. And again, leave some comments. I'm going to be excited to react to some of the comments that we get on this one tomorrow morning. I'll be reading some of those out loud. Enjoy game one. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.